Hey, thank you so much for checking out my chord generator program. This is just a little video to help you get started with it. Let's double click on it and start the app. This window will come up. That's just debug information for me. So if the program does not work for you and it crashes, it would be really helpful for you if you could select all this and then copy it and send it to me. But let's hope that doesn't happen. So this is the main program right here, and basically the core of what you want to do to change things of the progression it generates is on this window, and then this little window over here is kind of all of the chord options that we have. So right now these are all green, so like for instance, like it's going to pick major, sus4, sus2, major 7, major 7 flat 5, major 7th sus 4. Those are all options. These little sliders here are kind of weighted probabilities. So for instance, like if you wanted it to be much less likely to be a major chord, you'd put this down to 1. If you want it more likely, you do 9. However, these numbers don't make as much of a difference as they probably could. I'm probably going to change those in a later version to something bigger because right now 9 actually isn't that bigger than 5. So you're not going to get that many more major chords. You will, but it's like not what you'd think. Like it makes mathematical sense, but if you put something to the maximum, you generally think it's going to dominate, and it won't. So just kind of live with that for right now. So once I pick the chords I want, I generate a progression. And it appears down here, and then you hit this to play it. You can change the tempo here with this. You can change the individual volumes of the chords here. You can change how many bars you want it to be. You can change the meter. If you change any of these things, you're going to have to generate a new progression again. So for instance, if I decide, oh, I want a 16-bar progression, I have to press the yellow button again. It doesn't automatically do anything. So okay, let's make an 8-bar progression, and let's say that I want to add in maybe some half-diminished chords to the mix. So I would turn that to green, and then hit generate. So let's just do this a couple times. So we got something with a number of chords in it. There we go. That looks good. And then I would hit play. So right now you probably can't really hear the bass. The default sound is a sine wave, and it's going to be very, very quiet. So I'm going to turn that to Twin Peaks, which is kind of a goofy synthesizer sound. And we can crank the bass up with this. Might turn the chords down a little bit. And then we've got this chord progression, and it's gonna loop. So now you'll notice these chords aren't in root position. They're in all kinds of inversions. So if you do want them to all be in root position, turn voice leading off. And then all these chords are just going to be very, very basic voicings. Okay, so that's that chord progression. I like voice leading though, so I'm going to turn it on. And I want to be able to feel the rhythm better, so I'm going to turn the drums on. Okay? So everything here is basically straight 8th note based. So these are completely random rhythms. I mean, I just made something really quick that would generate random rhythms, and I made a few presets. So for instance, like there's hi-hat metronome. Which, interestingly enough, seems to not be working correctly. It's playing bass drum as well, so I guess I'll have to fix that later. But you can turn the drums down or something like that. I've worked on this for way too long. I don't want to change it. So basically, you've got this right now. You can set it to a double time feel, half time feel, etc. You can do various things with the chords, like make it a drop 2 chord. Which drops a note. Guitar players and piano players would know what this sounds like. So, like, there'll be a more spread out chord. Sounds a little better. And you can experiment. You might think it sounds best with sine waves. the overtones can kind of sound out of tune or something. So basically, just if you can, let me know features that you'd like and stuff like that. Oh, one more thing. So the original idea of this program was that like you wouldn't know what chords it was playing. It would repeat them, and you'd have to learn them by ear. So like turn that mode to ear training mode, and then when you generate a progression, it will play without giving you any hints. Okay, you can turn this back on. Also, slash chords here, you can make it have slash chords. So for instance, if we do this, now all of a sudden we've got slash chords in the chord progression, and everything's going to be have slash chords basically. So you can hear this a different sound. So not the greatest chord progression, but it is completely random. Let's say that we really liked this, but we wanted to change something about it. Like let's say that, oh man, I don't want this to have the root B for B sus2. I want it to be a C sharp sus2. So we go over here, pick D flat. Now it's changed. Now when we start the progression again, and all of a sudden we've got our changes here. You do have to start and stop it again to get these things to change. So the other thing, the final thing that you can do is make a sonority, like a custom sonority. So like let's say that I invented a chord called the cool guy chord, and the symbol is going to be a capital letter C, so I make sure to press enter after you type these things in. And the pitch class set works just like in music theory. So for instance, like 0 would be like if you're thinking in C, it'd be a C. C sharp is 1, D is 2, etc. I guess it's not quite a pitch class set because all of the numbers are based on their relationship to 0. So here, like for instance, like let's say I wanted a chord that was just like a C, a D, and an F sharp. Well, I would put in the numbers of those half steps from C. So I would be like a 0 is C, put a comma, a 2 is a D, and an F sharp is a 6. So remember, press enter when you're done entering that. And then when I do this, all of a sudden I hit add new chord, and then the cool guy chord appears here. So I'm going to turn the cool guy chord on and turn the probability high and turn off a bunch of other stuff so that we can have some cool guy chords in our song. So I should have picked a different symbol, I guess, but we have 2 cool guy chords down here and one over here, and I'll crank up the tempo, maybe put a halftime feel so you can hear them. So that's basically it. I mean, I know this program doesn't really generate tonal things or things that generally sound good, but it'll be a good thing to practice with, and it's interesting. So let me know if you have features or things work or don't work, and that's it. Thanks a lot for testing it.